Gareth, today we're talking about the fact that the sales profession for some seems to end up being a default profession. Some of the amazing organizations that we work with have fast track graduate scheme where you are immersed in the sales culture as part of your introduction to that business and train how to do it. But frankly, not many from our experience. Tell me what you've come to learn about that over the years.
Yeah, it's interesting because sales is often a default profession. You kind of end up doing it. And I guess if you roll the tape back, for careers advice you might get when you're, at school or something like that, it's not, sales isn't one of those things that's aspirational. It's not like being a doctor or an accountant or a nurse or something like that. It doesn't have a particular job title that fills you full of pride. We spoke before about it being a dirty word. And it's interesting because you may well get some training as a young grad coming into an organization, just as an example. But actually, that's quite rare, and it tends to be we do it once, and then it's left, and we don't follow up on that. So you could end up like I was. I was an accountant. I ended up going into marketing and then into sales, and I ended up running an account worth hundreds of millions of pounds with pretty much no training about how to do sales well.
When you think about how critical that is to the P&L and to the survival of any business, why do you think it is, Gareth, that the perception of that as a profession can, people can take such a dim view of it, and therefore it seems to be deprioritized in that way?
Yeah, it's interesting because every organisation, whether it's a business or a charity, you need revenue coming in. So it's crucial to success. And anyone who's run a business without revenue knows it's a problem. And also the crucial role of salespeople to get feedback from the market, critical. But it's often assumed that it's easy. It's often assumed there's no training. I've mentioned professions before. You'd never have an operation with a surgeon who wasn't highly trained. You wouldn't want a nurse who wasn't highly trained. You certainly wouldn't go on an aircraft with a pilot. You certainly wouldn't trust a really heavy lorry with someone who wasn't trained as a lorry driver. But yet often with sales, it's kind of like, just get on with it. Oh, it's easy. And people often haven't thought about the fact that actually, if you're going to engage with a customer effectively, consistently, you've spoken before about you need a framework, you need some sort of process, you need to practice it, you need to drill it. And any organization that doesn't have that, you've got to really ask yourself a question. How are we showing up in front of our customers? Are we doing it in the right way? Do our people have the right tools and the right techniques to use them? And if they haven't got that, there's a fair chance that your people won't stand out in a way that's positive for your customers. They'll stand out in a negative way. We've spoken before about the 5% club, that small amounts of salespeople who do it on a consistent basis. That also means there's a 95% club of people who don't do that. So any organization has got to ask itself, are you in the 5 or the 95?
And it's a great question to leave us with today. And certainly my experience is that the best general managers have always had a stint in sales. They get what it takes to engage customers and shift product. Ultimately, that's what keeps the world going round and our businesses alive. Thank you very much, Gareth.